Buying a home? Don't panic. Just listen to the rest of this podcast. Welcome back to the Buying a Home, Don't Panic podcast. And today's guest is Michael Fucci from the Proud Crowd, Inc. He's a general contractor, and we are going to talk about general contractors and what it means for home buyers, because a lot of you out there do not understand what's going on here. So we are going to get right into the shit on this.
Okay. Let's do this, John.
So Michael, tell everybody who you are real quick. I know I said, your name and stuff, but give us a little background.
My name's Mike Fucci. I own the Proud Crowd Construction Company and the Proud Crowd INC. And so we're a licensed GC company and also a licensed brokerage for real estate. So we help you buy houses, we help you fix houses, we help you rent the house. We're just a one-stop shop.
I'm going to have some pretty good questions for you today because, there's some things I don't quite understand with general contractors. But for the most part, today's show is about the homeowner and the potential home buyer. What does a general contractor do exactly?
So a general contractor is able to do multiple things. Our primary function is to bring all the trades together, set up the budgets, do the planning, and just managing the project. So for example, if you're a homeowner and you just have a general plumbing problem, you're not going to call a general contractor. You're going to call a plumber.
Right.
But if you have, if you're doing a room, if you're doing multiple trades, you can either as a homeowner manage that whole entire process with the subs, or you can hire a general contractor.
That's what I do. What you just described is what I do with my house. I bring in people to facilitate, what I need done. And it's worked out pretty good, but I understand
the process,
and I understand what each of these trades has to do. So that's easy for me, but that is not easy for regular Joe or Jane, whoever's buying a house. They're like, what? They're like,
it's overwhelming for home buyers,
right?
Especially a first-time home buyer,
right?
That doesn't understand that one, you're buying a house that's older, so you're gonna have maintenance stuff. So
yeah.
The struggle is trying to kind of convince people like this is not that big of a deal. It's not that hard.
Right.
You just have to find, a good, reliable person that's going to be communicative, that's going to communicate with you, that's going to answer your phone when you call. It's going to.
That's important.
You're going to answer your questions. It's very important because, people are spending a lot of money and there's a lot of moving pieces.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things that can go wrong. And I found as a contractor, when you assume somebody understands something, that's when disaster happens.
Don't assume anything.
Nothing.
Assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. That's a fact. And I heard that probably 30 years ago.
Well, I heard
it hasn't changed.
When you assume you make an ass out of you and me or something like something to that. So, I mean, you're just dealing with different personalities. You're dealing with different egos. Part of being a general contractor is just managing those guys, just managing everybody's personality, managing the expectations of the homeowner,
right,
managing the expectations of the subs,
right,
making sure that they're following what they promised. It all kind of ties together.
Right. So not to cut you off, but what Mike's pointing out is he's the ringleader. So if you hire Mike to come in and do your project, he's going to bring in a plumber if needed, a drywall contractor, a framing contractor. He's going to manage all of these things for you unless you want to do that on your own. But if you have no experience as to what a plumber does and doesn't do, or what a framer does and doesn't do, I don't suggest you do that because you'll get hosed. You'll probably get hosed. It's been my experience that if you educate yourself a bit before you hire these people, so that when you're having the conversation about plumbing, get on YouTube and look at some plumbing videos and just kind of familiarize yourself with what a pipe is, what a water pipe is compared to a drain pipe. If you just kind of educate yourself and then you call that person over, now you can have a pretty, intelligent conversation. And now you're putting that contractor on notice. Oh, wow, this person gets what I'm saying. So maybe I can't rip this person off because they're aware. If you're not aware, that's how contractors can take advantage of you. They'll sell you something you don't even need.
Well, I think we have so much information sources now.
Yes.
It's not like, where we had to go to the
Right.
encyclopedia and do your homework. We
Yeah.
have the internet, we have YouTube, we have TikTok. There's
Right.
lots of things. You want to be able to speak the same language. By speaking the same plumber language and
Right.
understanding those things,
Right.
you're going to have a better experience.
Yeah.
And plumber, they're not going to take advantage. They're not going to cut corners. Those are the
Right.
big things that you have to worry about. And
Yeah.
And the biggest thing that people base things off of is price. And when you start basing things off of price, you're missing out on a lot of different other factors, like the communication part, the organizational part,
Quality,
quality,
experience.
It's very important.
That's the number one problem in the world. Okay, look, we're consumers. We're trying to save money, but some things cost more money. And if you want things to be perfect, if you want things, well, close to perfect, if you want things to come out the best possible with the best possible outcome, you're going to pay a little more. But that's the, do I get the licensed guy? Do I get the non-licensed guy? Well, the non-licensed guy is like half the price of the license. Well, there's a reason for that because he's going to give you a taillight guarantee. As soon as you can't see his taillights, the guarantee's over.
Exactly.
When he's done. So that's what you got to be aware of as a homeowner or home buyer about to do a significant remodel at your house, whether it's an ADU addition, a bathroom remodel, whatever it is. This is your hard-earned money, and you want to hire somebody who has maybe a good track record, licensed, insured. Yes, another one too. So there's a lot to go on here. So contractors general contractors are required to have a license if their repairs are anything more than 1,000, right?
I saw a number that was 500. I think it's
no, it's like 1,000 now. I think it went up.
It increased to 1,000.
It did increase.
So that doesn't cover much in terms of repairs. So
that's handyman. We're talking below that's handyman stuff.
Basic stuff.
Yeah.
And that's where people are, when you have a guy that can do everything, I'm finding that the guy that can do everything doesn't understand the nuances of each trade. And when somebody does the trade like drywall every day, day in, day out, there's an art to it. There's a flow to it versus somebody who just doesn't do it all the time. When consumers are out there looking for stuff, there's more to it than just price. There's reliability. Are they going to answer your calls? Are they going to show up?
Right.
When you pay them, are they going to are they going to split town?
Right.
Me being licensed, I'm established. I have to report to the state. So if there's any issues, that's my license.
It's called recourse.
There's issues.
Yeah.
So, having a licensed contractor has a lot of benefits. So I find that some consumers, they want the cheap price and they want the great communication. They want everything that goes with
for zero.
And there's value to that. As my wife says, you have value, you communicate. And that's the biggest thing in any project is constantly communicating. And if you're constantly communicating, the project's going to turn out really good.
Yeah, that's my number one pet peeve when people don't communicate with me. I'll give you a quick example. I have a realtor reach out to me yesterday. Hey, John, are you available on Saturday? No, my first availability is Monday. Then total darkness. Not even okay, we'll get you on the next one. Sorry, we have to do it on Saturday. We'll get somebody else. Nothing. Zero. Zilch. Now, that person doesn't realize they are now at the back of my list for realtors because I will not put up with that. Don't ask me a question and then go dark. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's your time.
It's my time. Yeah. Because now I got them in the back of my head going, well, this guy may need me Monday. And now the phone's ringing with somebody else. And this guy's I'm not even going to respond to him. And I'm not going to say, hey, what's going on?
Why? You don't need
Dude, who taught you that? Where did you learn that? What school taught you to ignore people?
I just think
crazy.
It's a societal thing. I mean, we can go down that rabbit hole.
Let's not do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's stick to general contracting today. All right. So, what kind of a license is it that you have to carry?
So, as a general contractor, I have what's called a B license.
Okay.
And so the B license allows me to do a multiple of trades. So, for example, if I come in and I'm doing a repair for you, I have to have at least 2 other trades in order for me to pull the permit. So I'm able to do, I'm able to contract what a plumber does. So if you have a big plumbing problem, I'm the one that's going to have the person come and demo it.
Right.
Then you have the the plumber coming in and they're doing their work, and then I have to close it up. So those are the things like, so then it's a little bit of framing, plumbing, and drywall. So those, so that's how I'm able to pull a permit into work. I can't just,
you said you have to have 2 or 3?
I believe it's 3.
Okay.
And I'm not able to, like, for example, if you have a plumbing project and I'm just changing a hot water heater out and I can't pull just 1 permit. I have to pull 3 in order to legally do it, because you have to specialize in that one field. So the specialty fields those are called C licenses. So you have, drywallers have a C license, electricians have their C license, any of the specialties. I think there's like 37 of them, and those are specialty license.
Okay.
So as a general, I can either bring a crew in and they work under my license, or I can hire licensed subs. So it all depends on the type of project that we're doing and the budget.
All right. So let me ask you a tricky question.
Sure.
Well, then again, it's not really tricky. I think it's a question that's not asked. That's a better way to describe it. So that is I hire you as a general, and I'm assuming you're bringing in qualified subs, but I don't know that. So are you required to bring in a licensed sub or not?
No, I'm not required because
your licensed one is the one.
Licensed, so they're going to be working under my license.
Right. So if they're screwing up, it's up to you to catch it.
It's up to me to catch it, and it's always my responsibility
at the end.
At the end.
Right.
But so if they screw up, I'm the one that's being held accountable.
Right.
But if a licensed person who's working under their own license screws up, it's on them.
Right.
So then they would have to come back and correct the issue.
This is important information, listeners. This is really important information, right? You got to understand how this works, or how the burrito is made.
There's many steps to that burrito.
There's many steps. So if you hire a general and he's licensed, it's his license, and he's the one responsible for all the work being done under him, which could be plumbing, roofing, framing, whatever. So that's how that works. If you hire somebody without a license, once again, you get the taillight guarantee. So hopefully they're a reliable source. If you hire somebody without a license, maybe you get referral from a friend and you know this guy's solid. I'm not going to say there's none out there, because I have hired some that are not licensed and they did fantastic work because they care about what they do.
It's a mentality. It's bred into people.
Yes.
There's attention to detail. There's pride.
Yeah.
You have to have pride in your work. And,
absolutely.
And it shows. I mean, there's just little things that will really screw you up.
Yeah.
If somebody's not careful and not monitoring, supervising, you're not hiring the right people. I've had people go, you don't really need to do that. Like a concrete person. You don't need all those expansion joints. Like, really? You're doing concrete and you're telling me you don't need all those expansion joints?
I deal with that all the time at work.
And I have and I've seen it where I've seen people doing concrete where they'll just pour the concrete, spray it down one time and leave.
Right.
No, you gotta have somebody there the whole day.
Yeah.
Spraying it down the whole day, because that's like the most critical period in time. Like when you're,
and that's why concrete cracks faster than normal
all the time. And I mean, here's a good example. I'm doing an ADU up in El Sereno. So El Sereno's hillside. So we're at the kind of the bottom of the hill.
Right.
And if you go to the street behind this, what I'm working on, every single retaining wall is cracked or leaning. So it means that there's movement going on down there. Now, I did this finished floor, and I did the minimum requirement for the PSI was 2,500. I put 4,500 in. I put perimeter expansion joints. I put a cross down. I used, instead of number 4, I used number 5 rebar. I did the sand, everything that you're supposed to do. I even wetted it down twice a day for 7 days after it, just to get it to cure.
Yeah.
I got alligator cracks and doing all that prep. Now, concrete is always going to crack. It's just a living, kind of breathing thing. But if you have somebody that does not know what they're doing, it's bad. It's not an alligator crack. It's a deep crack.
Yeah.
And there's prep that goes into it. So it's really important. That's not go by the price, go by is this person, do they do good quality work?
Right.
Are they going to just pour, and walk away and then tell me that, it's normal?
Yeah.
Like, I get a bunch of stuff like that. So there's characters out there and you see them all the time, and you just have to be very, very careful.
Yeah.
And I heard too that if you don't do work with a licensed contractor and you're not pulling permits, insurance companies aren't paying out on stuff. Like if something happened to your property and it's not permitted and you didn't use a licensed contractor, some insurance companies won't insure it.
That's called consequences.
There's consequences. And then it starts tumbling from there.
Right. Right. You got to be accountable for what you're doing. I'm a big believer in that. It's like, I could do home inspections. I take on some big jobs sometimes, but I'm there for hours. And like, why are you taking so long? Because this is my job.
You have to.
You want me to walk through and go, oh, it looks fantastic. I love the color.
Well, I'm going to put on my broker's hat now. And it's really important, especially going through inspections. We're dealing with, in Southern California, there's not a lot of new home developments. We're dealing with product that's 50, 60, 70 years old.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to go through those things, because at some point you as a homeowner are going to have to address those issues.
Yes.
So, and I've been through 2 inspections with John. John uses robots and remote controls and doesn't have drones. He's smart. He doesn't have to crawl into the house normally. He has something that, you're watching this little RC thing going onto the house.
Yeah.
And it's, important. You're checking cracks, you're checking the stem wall, you're checking plumbing, you're checking for leaks.
Yeah.
Those are huge things for a buyer, especially a new buyer.
Oh yeah.
A new buyer, it's the biggest purchase they're ever going to make, most likely in their life.
Yep.
And it's a scary process for people. But if you have a good home inspector, if you have a good realtor, if you have a good contractor, it's not that bad.
Don't panic.
No, not at all.
There's no need to panic if you got the right people on the job.
And I'm going to put my broker's hat on again. Every single time you wait, you're losing equity, because in real estate, it always goes up.
Yeah.
So if you don't get into the game, you have no tax write-off.
Right.
You have you're just paying rent for the sake of paying. You're paying somebody else's mortgage.
Because somebody gave them bad advice and told them it was a bad idea to buy a house.
Because they went through the 2008, recession, and they're just and that was a bad recession.
It was.
Everybody got scared. So you have a lot of people who went through that experience are giving advice to their children, their nieces, their nephews.
Dude, I escaped that bad recession right there, the housing recession. I sold my place just before it happened, and I got top dollar.
That's amazing.
Just before it happened, the person that bought it from me actually wanted to meet me at the end. So I showed up. Hey, how you doing? She was like, I just want to shake the hand of the guy who got full price in a buyer's market.
It happens sometimes.
It was a nice house, and she had cash. So it was an easy transaction, 21-day escrow, done.
I went through that. I lost a house. I lost my job. I got divorced. So it was a tough time. So
it can be very bad.
It was tough, but in the end, that was the opportunity, because that people who bought during that time when it went down, they're the ones that are smiling now.
Yes.
Because they understood that house prices, they go up, they go down, but they always go up and they always appreciate.
Yep.
And so they took the risk, and now, they're sitting on $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 worth of equity in their house.
Yeah. That's the plus of owning a house right Absolutely. There. My name's Joe Schmo, and I'm looking to get some work done on my house, and I happen to call you. When you show up to meet me, or just prior to us signing an agreement, does the contractor have to provide his credentials? Is that required?
That's not required in the state.
Okay.
However, it's good practice. When I meet somebody, I show them, I have a contractor's card from the state that shows my information. My
CSLB?
license. Yes, from CSLB.
That's the Contractor State Licensing Board.
That's the place that you're going to go and do the license lookups, and it's pretty easy to use, and you can navigate that well. But you should always, before you sign a contract, you need to check the contractor to make sure they have no disciplinary actions.
Right.
You can also check to make sure that they have workers' comp insurance. You can check their bond.
So explain, let's get right into that workers' comp. So explain that to everybody, how important that is.
It is extremely important. So before, they're going to make it, I think it's this year or next year, 2026, they're going to mandate that everybody carry some type of policy. The workers' comp policy, I have it in order to ensure that if something happens to anybody that's on job site doing the work, that they have medical care, that they can go to the whatever clinic or wherever they go to get treatment, and it comes off my insurance. As a homeowner, if you hire somebody that's unlicensed and they get hurt on your property, it's on you, and your insurance probably won't cover it because they're unlicensed. So there's a lot of risks that go in there.
Right.
And it's expensive. That's why there's such a big markup with contractors. Like the insurance is insane. So just give you an example.
Oh yeah.
Just to give you an example, like how they charge with workers' comp. So if I'm paying somebody under $42 an hour, that whatever I pay them is times by 18% because it's called low wage, because the insurance company is going to charge you more if you're paying somebody less because they assume that person doesn't know what they're doing.
They're more of a risk.
Yes. So if I pay everybody $40, $50 an hour, then all I have to pay is 6% of what I pay them. So it's expensive. It gets,
but you're paying them more. So you're paying that guy because he's more experienced, but you pay less, and does it wash out?
It washes out.
It washes out.
So but you're not factoring in that if somebody's unqualified, you're going to have headaches. So there's a factor of like, do I want to have peace of mind, and do I want to make sure I pay somebody a great wage? The expectation is that I'm not going to have the headaches that if I were to pay somebody lower. And so it works out. I have a couple guys that they're expensive, but I don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
I know they know exactly what they're doing. They know how to interact.
And they'll do it right.
They'll do it right.
Take the time to do it right.
They're perfectionists.
Yeah.
And so that's what you want on your house. You want somebody.
Yes.
Like, for example, you did some grass work. It's not the grass work. It was the prep that went into it in order to make it look good.
Right.
And it's many steps.
He's talking about my new backyard. There'll be a video on that soon.
So you have you can have, if they skip steps, in the end, it's either going to look bad or it's not going to function properly.
It's not going to last.
It's not going to last. And then in the end, you're going to pay for it again and again and again.
Again and again. Exactly. So yeah, that was a good point of the workman's comp. It's another benefit to use a licensed insured contractor. So right now I could still hire a licensed contractor, but he may not be insured.
You have to check his insurances. So when you sign the contract, normally what we do is we put the insurance declarations within the contract.
Okay.
So they're there. So when you sign your contract, you'll have my bond declaration, my general liability insurance declaration, and my workers' comp declaration.
All right. So those are key. Okay.
So it's general liability, a bond. So the bond functions like if I were to walk away from the project as a licensed contractor, then my bond would kick in and somebody else, the bond company would hire somebody else to come in and finish the project.
Oh, that's how that works. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, so that's the purpose of the bond. General liability is just basic, if something happens to the house, if it burns down, if a mistake's made, that's when the general liability kicks in. If somebody gets hurt on the job, that's where the workers' comp kicks in.
Now, how do I know you have the right amount of policy on the liability?
It's going to show on the declaration.
What if my house is worth $2 million and you only have $500,000?
Then you have to go back to the insurance company and get more coverage in order to do that.
I see. Okay.
Because they can modify.
Now that's up to you to do, or the homeowner?
That's up to me to do because I'm the one that's carrying the policy. But it's up to you as a homeowner to make sure I do it and then make sure that I show you the declaration.
See, this is what this podcast is about. This is super, super crucial stuff. You got to know what you're doing when you start dealing with contractors. Thank you, Michael. This is very helpful. Pay close attention to this. This is a very important podcast right here as far as general contractors go. Those are fine details that most people will ignore.
And 99% of the time, you're never going to have to worry about it. But it's that 1% that if you don't have your ducks in a row, it's a disaster.
Right.
And then it's going to add time and you're going to be dealing with a lot of stuff that you don't want to deal with as a homeowner because all you wanted to do is get your project done.
Exactly. Are we done yet? We'll talk about that later. But that's really good stuff. So get a licensed contractor who's bonded, insured, and make sure his policy is going to cover the value of your property
To replace it if something happened.
to replace it in case a catastrophic problem like it burnt down or something. The electrician was actually the plumber by accident.
The gas line.
Yeah, gas lines. Yeah, that always scares me.
It is. It's very frightening.
Yeah, right across the street here, we had a problem. Guy poured all new concrete, and he had one of his knuckleheads come by and start saw cutting the driveway for something, and he nicked it.
So
Whole street got shut down. Fire department's out there. It was an inconvenience for half the neighborhood, more than half the neighborhood for about half a day.
here's another tip. Now that you mentioned the gas line, another tip is to make sure before you start a project, make sure the contractor calls 811.
That's right, 811.
Because they're going to mark the gas lines.
Yep.
That's something that a contractor should be doing. That's the homeowner.
Yep.
So if you hire the contractor, that's one of my responsibilities to make sure that the area is safe. Because in the end, it doesn't matter. It always falls on the person with insurance.
Right.
So if you have insurance,
Yeah.
they're coming after you.
Exactly. So, we haven't even gotten into permitted work yet. We're going to get into that, not right this second, but soon. Because we just talked about a lot, and that's just regarding a general contractor and what he should or she should not be doing.